Hi everyone, in this video I will be recapping what we did in class the week of December 7th. So the first thing that we talked about in class was couplets this week. So we first looked at these three different poems and we looked at things that we noticed. And we noticed that each one is 2 lines. We also noticed that the end of each line rhymes with each other. So this one, fly and sky rhyme, ham and am rhyme, scope and hope also rhyme. And then we also noticed that in these 2-line poems, they have the same number of syllables in them in each line. So it's hard to see the butterfly is 8 syllables. Because he flies across the sky is also 8 syllables. So each line has the same number of syllables. These poems are called couplets, and we are looking at rhymed couplets in this class. And a rhymed couplet is when there is 2 lines in the poem or in the stanza, and the last word of each line rhymes, and then there's the same number of syllables in each line. So there's 2 different kinds of couplets that we talked about. The first is an open couplet, and this means that the whole couplet is one sentence. So line 1 is the beginning of the sentence, and then line 2 is when the sentence ends. So you know because there's a period here, but not a period here. So this one, for example, is an open couplet. It's hard to see the butterfly because he flies across the sky. So there's a period here, but not here, which means it's an open couplet. The second kind is a closed couplet. So this is when the first line is one sentence and the second line is one sentence. So an example here is she was a little tense, period. The notice made no sense, period. So each one of these is its own sentence, which makes this couplet a closed couplet. So then we also did some rhyming practice where we looked at all of these different words and tried to rhyme them. And one thing to remember with this is that when you have a longer word like butterfly that has 3 different syllables in it, what you're trying to rhyme with is the very last syllable. Or like in the word understand, you're just trying to rhyme with the last syllable, and. So then as a class, we wrote some couplets together, and in period 3, these are 3 couplets that we wrote about. Miss Michaela Sharon's eyes are brown. Michaela deserves to wear a crown. So this is a couplet because they both have this own sound at the end, and each line has the same number of syllables, which is 9. And this one is this should be here, a closed couplet because each one of these is its own sentence, which makes it a closed couplet. This one, nature is beautiful, the weather is mindful. This is a couplet because beautiful and mindful rhyme with that ul sound at the end. And each line has the same number of syllables, which is 6. And this one is also a closed couplet because if you can see, there's a period at the end of each line. And then we also made this one. Mr. Chris is so old, and his blue clothes have mold. So 6 syllables in each line, and then old and mold rhyme with each other. And this one is an open couplet because it's all one sentence. There's no period at the end of this line up here. Okay, so then there was an assignment where you were to write your own couplet, and it's posted here under poetry. And if you look at this, you were to write a couplet in this space below. And then I also wanted you to say if your couplet was an open couplet or a closed couplet, and then how do you know? And I have the definitions of them here to help you out with that. Okay, and then the second day of class this week, we started learning about quatrains. And quatrains are similar to couplets, but they're a little different. So we looked at this poem here, and we noticed that there is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, so twice as many as in a couplet. And then we noticed that the first line and the last line rhyme, line and mine. And then line 2 and line 3 rhymed as well, past and last. And then we also noticed that every single line has the same number of syllables. So word by word and line by line, they all have 8 syllables. So a quatrain is 4 lines, and a quatrain, this could be an entire poem, or this could just be one stanza, but it's called a quatrain either way. There is rhyme in quatrains. As we saw here, these 2 lines were rhyming, and then this line and this line were rhyming. And there is also meter, which means that there's the same number of syllables in every line. We also talked today about the 2 different kinds of rhyme. We talked about end rhyme and slant rhyme. An end rhyme is when the end of the word sounds the exact same as the other words. So well and bell are an example of end rhyme. Whereas slant rhyme is when the word sounds a little bit different at the end, like well and whale. So they kind of rhyme, but not completely. So these are something to keep in mind as we're rhyming when we're creating our quatrains. Okay, the next thing we talked about was rhyme scheme. And a rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhyme in a poem. And the way that this is used is each line is assigned a letter that shows the pattern. So here was our first example of a rhyme scheme. This says, my cat is nice. My cat likes mice. My cat is fat. I like my cat. So the first rhyme we see is here in the first 2 lines with nice and mice. So both of these end with the same syllable at the end, ice. So that's given the letter A. Now these last 2 lines rhyme with each other, and they end in the sound at. So that's different from this ending sound, so it's given the letter B. So the rhyme scheme here is A, B, B, because lines 1 and 2 rhyme, and lines 3 and 4 rhyme. Okay, another type of rhyme scheme here. This poem says, my cat is nice, my cat is fat. My cat likes mice, I like my cat. So we have the rhyme ice here, but they're in different places. This time it's line 1 and 3 that rhyme. So line 1 is A and line 3 is A. And fat and cat, that at sound, they rhyme, but that's in lines 2 and 4 this time. So if they're assigned the letter B, this time the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, as you can see down here, which is different from this one. So then we played a little guess the rhyme scheme game where we read, I think it was three different quatrains, and we said what the rhyme scheme was. So this one, clown and down rhymed, so this was A, and then toes and nose rhymed, which is B, B. So the rhyme scheme was A, B, B. In this one, day and play rhyme, so it's A, and then toes and nose rhyme, which is B, B. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, B. All right, and then this last one, sad and bad rhyme, and full rhyme. So this one was different. So this one had the same sound as this one, so they're both A, and then the 2 middle lines have the same sound, so they're both B. So the rhyme scheme here is A, B, B, A. A, B, B, A. So then as a class, we practiced writing a quatrain, and this was what we came up with in period 3. So the rhyme scheme that we decided to do was A, B, B, A. The best part of eating food is that we all get real full, and it is so beautiful. It smells really freaking good. So food and good are examples of slant rhyme because it's not an exact rhyme, it's a little bit off. But these two rhyme, and then the two middle lines rhyme, which is why it's A, B, B, A. And as you can see, we got 7 syllables in each line, which makes it a quatrain. This is the other one that we came up with in period 3, and our rhyme scheme here was AABB. School is a great place to study with Muhammad, my good buddy. We learn interesting subjects like science and math with objects. So we have some end rhyme here and some end rhyme here, study buddy, and each line is 8 syllables long, which makes this a quatrain because it's the right number of syllables. So then for homework, I posted this quatrain poem assignment. And you are to write a quatrain and then answer this question about what is the rhyme scheme for your quatrain. So it could be, remember, AABB, or it could be ABBA, or I think we had one that was, ABAB. So here is where you would put what your rhyme scheme is. And then each one of these boxes is for a syllable for you to write. So if we were using this one, the first line, school is a great place to study. School is a great place to oh my goodness, D. So each box is for 1 syllable, and I have 10 boxes here, but you don't have to use that many. You could just do 5 syllables per line if you wanted to. But what you want is you want your lines to all end in the same box. So you have the same number of syllables in each line, and then make sure that there is a rhyme scheme in it and that you only have 4 lines.